Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. It truly, truly is. Before we get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer. This video is for education purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so because it really helps me out and I really, really appreciate it. So, this is a story time about how my brother went crazy and unalived our mother. It's a little different from my usual content just because the majority of the story will be told by the victim's daughter. Obviously, I will give my commentary throughout for a few reasons, but the truth of the matter is that I could never tell this story as well as she could. The woman telling the story is named Naisha. The victim in this story is 55-year-old Tracy Kenmore. The brother in this story is Kendrick Kenmore, who has a history of mental illness that you will hear about. The story takes place on December 16th, 2020, inside of Tracy's home. So, part one starts off with her brother's first episodes. Her aunt calls her and her mother saying that Kendrick was there threatening to unalive himself. She speaks about a second incident involving Kendrick, his baby, and his baby mama, and a third incident involving her brother being paranoid and walking around believing that people were coming to harm him.
Okay, this is part one of how my brother went crazy and with our mom. First episode that my brother had was my mom got a call from my auntie where she stated that my brother was down at her house acting a little weird and crazy, and he was saying things that she's never heard him say before, and he is basically saying that he don't want to be alive anymore and he's done with life, and she needed to come down there. So me and my mom went down to my aunt's house, and when we got down there, we was trying to figure out what was going on with my brother, but they had already called the police and the ambulance for him, which they was trying to get the ambulance to take him into like the mental hospital to see what's going on. And my brother is just wailing out. He's just saying all type of things, and then I'm thinking that his intentions was to get the police to shoot him because he kept reaching and he kept being very aggressive with the police officers, and the police officers were saying um, they didn't want to hurt him. They here to help him, and they was trying to do their best to, not take and be so aggressive with him because they know that something was wrong with him mentally. So they end up taking him into the hospital, and then what they did was end up releasing him the next day because they just said that they felt like he was high and he just was coming off of a drug, so they released him. And then we had another incident, like I think it was like a few weeks later. My mom called me and was like, get over here ASAP. She was like, I don't know what's going on with your brother. He has his baby mama in the car and he's driving crazy. So I get over there, and when I get over there, my mom lives on the main. She lived on the main street, and it was so many people outside. It was police there everywhere, and my family was there. We trying to see what's going on, and I get there. He had his baby mama in the car, and he was driving crazy with her in the car, talking about he's gonna kill everyone in the car and all these things. And then some way my brother got in the car because they found out he had a knife. So my other brother ended up getting in the car. I don't know how he hopped in the car because I wasn't there. I had just got there. When I got there, they said he was in the car, and it was scared because they thought he was going to stab my other brother in the car. So my other brother was trying to fight to get the knife from him, and some way they followed out, and he ended up getting a knife. And my brother the car ended up running into my mama's yard and stopped, and the police officers ended up snatching him out the car and it's blood everywhere. And my brother both of my brothers end up getting stabbed. So he didn't mean to stab my other brother, but they was fighting for the knife. So when they was fighting for the knife, it sliced my brother that got in the car trying to take the knife from him. So the police end up getting him, taking him in, and trying to get him help. They end up putting him into the hospital port where the mental people was at. And when we went in that car, because his baby mama was so scared because his daughter was in the car as well, so she was so scared she didn't know what to do. And we get in the car to help her like clean it out. It's puddles of blood. So he didn't himself up and hurt himself, and there's puddles of blood in the car. So we had to like take the mat, and when we took the mat, the blood was so much blood, it was like leaking out like water. You know how you leave your windows down and water gets in your car? That's how much it was. So then we're thinking that they're gonna keep him, but we get a phone call the next day for us to come pick him up. He needed a ride, so we go and pick him up, and we like, what the hell? How did he even get out the next day? So like they say, he's on a drug and he's coming off of his drug. So we like, okay, all right, it's the second incident, but okay. So then it's just occurring back to back. So then there's another incident. My mama calls me. She stayed calling me because she was going through hell with him, because he had lived with her. Him and his baby mama was living with her in her basement, and they were staying in her basement for a long time. They was in her basement for like 4 years in her basement. And he went crazy out of nowhere. So it's like it just went completely out of nowhere. So this next incident, my mom calls me and was like, I don't know what's going on with your brother. He's looking out the windows thinking someone's after him. He keeps saying they coming, they coming. He keeps looking out the window saying they're coming to hurt him. And she said he hasn't took a bath in days. He stinks. He's walking around with no underwear on, no socks, just shorts on, and he's walking around outside. And I'm thinking that he's trying to hurt himself. Can you come over here? And I was in the mix of, my mama was in the mix of going to a wedding. I was going to a baby shower, and my brother was going on a date with his daughter. So we all was dressed up, like we all was. So which was weird. We all three going somewhere and you doing all this. So we get over there. We're trying to see what's going on. Like, bro, what's going on? What's wrong? Like, what can we do to help you? And he's keeps looking sideways, because my mama, where she lives at, it's like a main highway street. And it's like a main street where it's just traffic all through there. So he's looking like he wants to hop in the street. And we like, get away from the street. Come on over here. Because we're getting scared, because we like, wait a minute, why you keep going towards the street? Why you not talking to us in the yard? Like, why are you right there? So come on over here. So we get over there. We get him, and then some way we end up getting him in the car, because we want to take him down to the hospital so he can get help, because we know something's wrong. So we end up getting him in the car. We get him in the car, and we're trying to go get him help. And so we're talking to him. He keeps looking around all crazy and looking. His eyes is all bucking. I could have swore his eyes was black. Like, he didn't look like himself. He wasn't even there. He was someone else. And we was like, you want some food? You want a cigarette? He wanted a cigarette. He smoked them cigarettes. When I tell you, my mama just had bought that pack of cigarettes. He damn near smoked the whole pack of cigarettes. She bought him food. He didn't even eat the food. We ended up taking him to the hospital. We went in there. We had to damn near beg him to get into the hospital. We had to prep talk him to get into the hospital. We finally get him in the hospital. And when we get him in there, he's like looking at us like we like just let him go like a sad puppy we just let off in the street. And then so next thing you know that he's fighting the people and we like quit resisting, and he's give something to my brother and we like, what is this? And we looked and it was like a little piece, and I guessing that it was drugs because previously, you know, my brother's in the streets. He did his own thing or whatever before he even went, you know, start going a little crazy. He was doughboy on top, street dude. Like, you know, he's looking out for me. This is my brother who I call, who's gonna always look out for me, giving me the latest Jordans, giving me money, looking out if I need anything, my kids, everything. He's him. Like, he's in the streets, he's making money. And for him to give him a piece, like, it's a personal piece. So we looking like, is he on drugs? Is he taking these things? Is this what he doing? And so we like confused because we don't know. Like, we said previously, we kind of think that he tested his own shit, but we didn't know. But then when he gave him that, I was like, that's a personal. And I told my mom, I said, Mama, that's a personal. That's his, what he was using personally. That was for his use. And she was like, you think so? Yes, Mama, it is. It got to. Even my other brother, he was like, yeah, Mama, I think so too. So she was like, I'm going to ask him when I talk to him, are you on drugs, and was these the drugs for you? And I'm going to ask him. And it's about to cut off on me. Come back for part 2 of how my brother went crazy and our mom. Okay? Thank you.
So, it's clear just from the little that we know so far that Kendrick was not in his right mind. There were red flags everywhere. And it seems like this was just a matter of time before something awful or tragic was going to happen. Part 2 opens up with Naisha talking about her brother's addiction to drugs, his denial about his addiction, and her brother setting himself on fire. Yes, he sets himself on fire, along with arguments over a Facebook post.
This is part 2 of how my brother went crazy and killed our mom. So he had the little piece, which we knew that was like a personal piece. The personal piece was, you know, a usage of him, you know, because, you know, my brother was like a doughboy. Like, he was out in the streets, like, whatever I needed, if I needed anything, like Jordans, clothes, shoes, anything for my kids, I can look to him to help me. That was that brother. And then for him to just flip script like that was mind-blowing. And we knew what you was used to, you know, working with out in here in the street. So we know what is and what ain't. And I told my mama, I thought that he was using his own products, in which I believe that he was, because he had that little piece. And I told my mama that was a personal thing. You know, even my other brother, he said the same thing. So she was like, she was going to ask him when he got out or whatever. So that was that. She ended up asking him when he got out, because they ended up releasing him. Which they said he was coming off of a drug like the other times. So we ended up going to pick him up. He went back over to my mama's house. She ended up asking him, and when she asked him, he said that he wasn't. He went on drugs, whatever, which we know that was a lie. Come on now. So then we end up getting another incident happen. So my mama called me. This one's the big one. So this one right here, she called me. She's crying, historical, on the phone. Now she get over here. Come over here. Your brother, he just set himself on fire. And I'm like, what? So I get over there. Not to me, my mama lived on a main street. Remember that? And it was so much traffic on that street. So I get on her street. I can't even get on to where she lived at because it's blocked, like the traffic's bad. So I have to park my car and then walk down. So I walk down. It's police, ambulance, fire truck, everything over there. I'm like, what the fuck? So it's people getting out their cars looking. They wondering what's going on. I walk up over there. My brother's in the yard and he got a cover over him. And I'm like, bro, what's going on? What's wrong? And next thing I know, he drops the cover. And when he drops the cover, his skin was peeling off. His skin was literally peeling off. Like, peeling. It was pink. And I'm like, what the fuck? So coming to find out, he went in the backyard and got some so he goes in the backyard and gets my mama's lighter fluid, which was in the back, and sprays himself with the lighter fluid and sets himself on fire. Which his baby mama said that he had a knife too. So I guess he was planning on killing himself. So he either was gonna kill himself with a knife or he was gonna set himself on fire and he was gonna run in the street and let like a semi hit him. So she said she seen him on flames and she took a cover and she wrapped, she stopped, dropping, roll with him so the flames can go out. And he was on fire from the waist down. So he didn't have any skin. So the ambulance is trying to get him to, get on the stretcher. When I tell you, he walked to the ambulance truck. So we all shocked, like, what the fuck? So he must be in shock. So that's what that was. He was in shock. And he walked to the ambulance truck himself. So then they end up putting him on the stretcher when he walked to the ambulance truck. So they end up taking him to the hospital. So we all scared. We don't know what's going on. They rushed him into the hospital, did his little surgery on him because he's got third-degree burn. Like, they didn't put him in the burn unit. So all our family's up there in the waiting room waiting to see what's going on. We upset. We don't know. My nerves is bad. My mama's nerves bad. Mine, we don't know. So then come to find out he's going to be okay. So they end up letting us go in the room to see him. When I tell you we went in this room to see him, it was just like a black room. Like, his eyes was black. Like I mentioned the first part. It didn't even seem like that was my brother. My brother was gone. It wasn't even him no more. Like, I felt like I lost him. Like, it wasn't him in that room. Like, we just felt like I was in a room with a demon. And I didn't like that bad energy in there, that spirit. So I made sure he was okay. And I had to get out of that room because, like, it wasn't it. So then he stayed in the hospital. They had to keep him in the hospital for a while. So I was going back and forth to the hospital, make sure that he was straight, giving him food, anything he need. My mama, she didn't leave. She was 10 toes down. Like, she stayed with her son. Like, she wasn't letting up. She wasn't leaving. They had the priests come there, the priests that be at the hospital and stuff. They had preachers coming there, people praying for him, everything, trying to make sure that he's straight. So my mama didn't leave. Like, she was there from sun up to sundown. Like, she even got sick. My mama was diabetic and she had thyroid. So she got to the point where she was getting sick because she was there all night. Girl, go home. Mama, go home. He's going to be fine. That's what I had to tell her. Like, he got nurses here. It's okay. But she didn't want to leave her son. So they had to do like a surgery on him. They did like that surgery that they never did before on him, on anybody. It was like a skin graft surgery, and they put skin on him. And when I tell you, these doctors did they big one on that, because that skin looked like that was his skin that he grew. And it looked good, but you had to take care of it. So he was in the hospital for 3 to 4 weeks. He had to go through therapy again to learn how to use his legs, his private, everything. Like, he burnt all that. Like, he had to learn again. Like, he fucked his bones up, all that. So my mama was taking him to therapy, giving him his medicine, bandages, everything. Like, she was his nurse. Like, she was doing her big one for her child. And she didn't let up. And she was like, I don't know, y'all gotta help me because this is hard. And I understand that it was hard, but like, mama, you have to take a break for yourself. That's what I kept telling her. She had got sick or whatever, and that was that. So then she ended up telling his baby mama, you got to go, because she was staying at her. Remember I told you that they was in her basement staying for 4 years. She told her she had to go, so she ended up having to leave because, baby girl, you getting pregnant down here and everything. She ended up getting pregnant. So, girl, it was too much. Like, you got to go. So she ended up telling her she had to go. So it was just my mama and my brother there. So my mom was taking care of him or whatever, and we was thinking that he was getting better because shit was getting better. Like, he was doing good. Like, he was like in the room where he was doing good again. Like, he was mingling with his nieces and nephews again, having, talking, saying his prayers, going to his therapy. He ended up, going to see a therapist or whatever, and they doing the Zoom stuff because this was during COVID too. So they end up doing the Zoom therapy and stuff for him and stuff too. So we thinking everything's fine and everything's good. So then, my mom was taking care of him. I'm making sure that everything's straight. And then it's like everything was good. Then it's like I got a phone call from I got a phone call from work, and she was like, I don't know what's going on with your brother, and I don't know what's going on with your brother. He's mad that I made this post on Facebook. All she did was she reshared this post where it was like, if you don't like it, you can hit the road jack, and it was like a Tweety Bird, and it was just like a little quote, and she just reposted it. So I guess he thought that was towards her, and which wasn't. She said it wasn't. She just reposted it, and he got mad. And he got mad that she reposted that, and he was walking around with an attitude. So she was like, I can't do this by myself. Y'all gonna help me with him because I can't take this. He's walking around not taking showers again, and he's not eating. So I guess he was going back downhill. And then see, he was getting to the point where when we came over there, like, he stopped coming out the room. He was sitting in the room in the dark, because it got to the point where my mama was like, she had told him, like, share your story on Facebook, because my brother never had a Facebook or social media or anything. He never had none of that. So my mom was like, well, maybe your story will help somebody else out, because we thought he was getting better. So she was like, go on Facebook and, like, tell your story. So, like, he would go on Facebook Live, and he was just, like, be in a dork talking. And he would be in that dark just talking, saying all kind of stuff on these lives, like, that didn't even make sense. And then, like, we wasn't really paying attention to him like that, but we was. But I feel like if we was paying more attention, come back for part 3 of how my brother went crazy and my mom, part 3.
Part 3 is a little sad. She speaks about how her mom refused to give up on her baby, but on the flip side, how her mom was so scared of her son that she had to sleep with her door locked and with a knife underneath her pillow. She also speaks about the hate and resentment that he feels towards their mother for his father not being in his life. So there's 3 siblings. There's at least 3 siblings. Kendrick has a different father than the other 2 have. And the other 2 children have a very present father, while Kendrick does not have a present father. This is also the part where she talks about her mom being found lifeless inside the home.
So this is part 3 of how my brother went crazy and killed our mom. So he was in that room, and he was just in that room in the dark going live, and I just felt like it was just bad vibes after a while. He went downhill. He wasn't on his spiritual journey no more. He was just like on some demonic shit after a while. Like, you can feel the bad vibes, especially when you're a spiritual person. You can feel that bad energy, and it was all in that room, like right there. It got to the point where the kids didn't go in that room no more. I didn't go in that room and check on him no more, because I just felt the bad vibes. I felt it. Especially, I'm spiritual, and I felt it. So he stayed in that room in the dark. He wasn't even taking baths no more. He was barely eating, all that. So then it was like he was making them videos, and he was like, how can a mother do this to their child or whatever? And then it's like my mama was so upset. She was so scared, really, of him. She was sleeping with her doors locked, knife underneath her pillow. And I got to the point, I'm like, Mama, why are you in this house with him with your doors locked and a knife underneath your pillow? She was like, I don't care. That's my son. I'm not turning my back on my son. Okay. I was like, I understand it, Mama, but it's your safety that you got to worry about. Because if you in your own house, sleeping with your door locked, your bedroom door locked, and a knife underneath your pillow, you're scared of him. You're scared that he's going to do something to you. You need to put him in a home, like a mental home, like something that can help him, because you can't help him only so much. She didn't want to do it. That was her firstborn. She didn't want to turn her back on him. It was that. You can only say so much to your mama for them to listen to her. I'm like, okay. So, go back to him doing them lives, and he's saying, how can a mother do this to their child? He was so resentful to my mama with his childhood. He blamed everything that happened bad to him in his adult life on my mama. He used to be so nasty to my mama. When they got into it, calling her bitches, whores, sluts. She's the reason why he ain't got his daddy in his life. Like, he was so resentful of him not having his daddy in his life and put it on my mama. He used to, like, pick a difference of his relationships with his siblings. Like, he wasn't, like, resentful towards me, like, because I was a little sister. But, like, my other brother, like, he would be resentful toward him, like, because me and my other brother, we had shared the same daddy, but him, he didn't have the same daddy as us. Like, he had different daddies than us, and, like, he would, like treat outsiders more better than he did his own brother. Like, even his cousins, he would treat them like brothers than he did his own brother. Which, I'm not saying they didn't have a good relationship, but I felt like you wasn't more brotherly to your brother because you didn't have the same daddy as him. And my daddy was in our life. He tried to be in his life, but he was so resentful towards him. You can only do so much when a person don't want you around, and you ain't gonna force it. So that's what my daddy did. But, you can't get mad at us because your daddy wasn't around, but that's just how he was. So let's go back to the day that, my mama had found that post. Post that post. So the next day, I had a phone call from my mama, and I missed it. So, I called her back, and she didn't answer. So I was running late. So I was getting the kids ready because they was going to go over her house because it's COVID. So, school and daycare was closed, and my mom was out of work because of COVID. So I'm getting them ready. I'm running late. Usually she'll call me and be like, "Oh, Nisha, y'all still coming? What y'all running behind?" But she didn't call me, which was weird because she always called me. So I got them ready. I'm pulling up over her house. I'm getting them to hop out the car because I'm about to pull off. I'm about to ski out of there because I'm late for work. Usually that's what I do when I'm running late. I have them hop out the car. I know she gonna open the door, so I'm about to ready pull off the driveway. So when I'm about to pull off, she's not answering the door. So I'm like, "Are y'all knocking?" They was like, "Yeah, we knocking." So I had to get out the car. I started knocking on the door and calling her. She ain't answering. So I knocking on her window because her window's right next to the door. So she's not answering. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I tell the kids to get back in the car. So the kids get back in the car. So I didn't have to call in because I ain't got nobody to watch the kids. So we pull up back at the house. So I keep calling her. She's not answering. So I call my brother. I'm like, "You talked to mama?" He was like, "No, I ain't talked to her. I talked to her yesterday. She couldn't find her keys." I'm like, okay, that's weird. I said, "Yeah, she called me too. I missed the phone call." So I was like, he was like, "You think she went over her boyfriend?" So I was like, "No, because her car's outside." Because her car was outside. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, no. I was like, I don't think so, because he ain't got no car. So how you going to come get her? So, I was like, okay, that's cool, because my brother was at work. So I got off phone with him. I'm still trying to, see where she is. So I ended up tracking her phone because I got all her passwords and everything for her phone because I set her phone up. So I track it. The phone says she's at home. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. Her car's at home and she's at home. So then, I was like, man, where the fuck is my mama at? So I starting to get worried. So I called 911. I'm like, okay, I don't know where my mama is. I said, she's not answering the phone. I said, the phone says her phone's tracking to her house and her car's at home. And then I said, I know her and my brother got into it last night. Not too bad, but he got a mental problem and he had an attitude with her over a post. And then I was like, y'all can either meet me over there or y'all don't, but I'm just informing y'all because I'm about to pull up over there and go in the house. So they was like, we'll have a dispatch go over there, police go over there. So then my daddy ended up calling me because I guess my brother called him. He was like, "You about to go over your mama's house?" I was like, "Yep." He was like, "I'll meet you over there. I'm about to pull up over there." Because my daddy lived down the street from my mama. So I pull up over my mama's house, me and the kids, they in the back seat. I told them sit in the car, I get out. I'm trying to open up the windows because I don't got my key, because the week before she asked to use my key because she got locked out of the house. So I'm trying to open up the windows. I couldn't open up the windows. My daddy ended up pull up. He trying to get in, couldn't get in. So we go around the back because she got a sunroom. We going in. I said, Daddy, the door's probably locked. My daddy go to the door, door's wide open. I'm like, okay, that's weird. So we go in. We go in, there go to the kitchen. So when you go in, there go to the kitchen. So I'm like, Mama. Daddy's like, Tracy. So we go in, going through. I go to the living room. In the living room, I go a chair with stuff stacked on top of it and the couch pushed up to the door. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's weird. So I'm like, okay, I paused and looked at that, but my daddy's going towards my brother's room. He skipped my mama's room because their rooms is right by each other like this. So he goes in my brother's room, and then I go in my mama's room. And I'm like, Mama. And her bed's made up. I'm like, Mama. And there's 2 specks of blood on the, oh Lord, bear with me, y'all. It's 2 specks of blood on the it's 2 specks of blood on the cover, and I pulls it back, and when I pull it back, my mama's covered in blood's everywhere, all over the curtains, all over the walls, all over the place. And I think I passed out. My daddy grabbed me, pulling me out the room. Some way I breaks out of my daddy's hands. And I'm telling y'all just how it happened. I breaks out of my daddy's hand. I runs out the house. I takes my jacket off and run down the street. Because remember, my mama lived on the main street. I run down the street and I'm screaming. I am terrified. I just lost my mama. I know she's dead. So much blood in her. She's not moving or nothing, and I fainted. I just knew it. The way she was, it didn't even look like her. Tune back in for part 3 of how my brother went crazy and killed our mama.
Part 4 addresses the immediate aftermath of the situation. Naisha talks to police and tells them in no uncertain terms, really, that her brother is the person responsible for the death of her mother. And not only did he unalive his mother, he also steals her vehicle. I feel as though I should probably give a trigger warning for this part, just because it's incredibly difficult to hear about, and the aftermath of this and the testing the police did to gather the evidence. They need to secure the arrest. It's really, really heartbreaking. She also goes into depth about planning the funeral for her mother, and it's gut-wrenching to listen to. I'm not even going to mince my words. It is gut-wrenching to listen to this poor woman.
Okay, this is part 4 of how my brother went crazy and killed our mom. So after I found her, I ran down the street and I lost it. And I had my dad had came out trying to help me, and the kids are still in the car too. And so they don't know what's going on. I'm just lost for words because I just found my mama dead and filled up with blood. So the police and the ambulance is there. They end up going inside and trying to see what they can do when they went in there. And they come back out and I'm like, she's dead. And they was like, well, we can't say if she is or not. And I was like, I already know she's dead because, you didn't come out with her on the stretcher. So as common sense, if you didn't come out with her on a stretcher, then she's dead. And I was just lost for words. And it was pouring down raining. When I say pouring. And when I ended up calling my brother, my family, everybody, aunties, I didn't call them, but my daddy did, and everybody got the word. I called my brother and told him. I broke down I didn't even know how to tell my brother. Like, it was horrible. And everybody ended up showing up, and like I said, my mama lived on that main street, so traffic was just at a standstill because everybody was just so shocked because my mama was very known. Like, my mama was a traffic guard in the city. She worked for the police department, so she was a traffic guard, and she also like was traffic guard for like schools and stuff. So she knew so many people in the city. Not to mention that she was just known in the city. She was very, very known. So like people slowing down, they stopping. Like, it was so many people at her house. And even the reverend came, like, for our church. He ended up coming. I don't even know how he got the word. Like, the word traveled quick. And police came, and they was like, do you know who did it? And this is homicide ended up coming. And I was like, yeah, it was my brother. And he was like, how do you know it was your brother? And I'm like, because her car is gone now. Remember, I said her car was there. Now her car was gone when I end up coming back. So I don't know if he was still in the house or not. Like, her car was gone when I end up coming back. So I'm like, I know it was him. Like, it had to be him. Like, her car's gone. Like, it was here first, now it's gone. And then he's the only one to live here with her. Like, it has to be him. So they like, okay, so we're gonna put an alert out on her for her car. And they was asking me the model and the make and the description of the car and what my brother looked like and everything. And I had told them, so they put an alert out for him. And then, all the police officers, they knew my mama. Because, like I said, my mama worked for the police department. So it was like one of theirs. Like, they just died. So all the police officers and homicide, everybody that came, they was giving their condolences because they knew my mama. So they was hurt too. So they went in there and they was like, yeah, your mom, they finally announced that she was dead or whatever. And I was like, well, I had already known. And I was devastated. Like, lost for words. And it's pouring down, and it was like, you all can leave if you want. I'm like, no, I'm not leaving. I'll wait until I see y'all. I wanted to see my mom. I'm gonna leave the house. I did. I wanted to stay, and I stayed. My whole family stayed. We stayed in the rain, and we waited. They had to wait, for the people. I forgot the name of the people that come to check the body and stuff. And they had to wait for them to come. And not hospice, you know what I mean. But they end up having to come, and then they check her, and so they can name what was the cause of death and stuff. And then they was saying she had her last vows and stuff. They had to wait for all that and stuff. And they end up was telling they end up, it took a long time. They had to do like search the house and all the other stuff. It took hours and hours, and we waited outside. And they end up while we was waiting, they end up telling us they end up finding my brother downtown. They found him because my mama had this was right before Christmas, so my mama already had all her Christmas stuff. She even had her Christmas tree up. She already had all her presents underneath the Christmas tree for everybody. And she had gifts in her trunk too for her grandkids. So somebody had said they seen him at the store, and he was trying to sell some of the kids' gifts in the trunk, because my mama had I know she had got one of my sons a scooter for Christmas, and he was trying to sell this scooter for gas money because he didn't have any gas money. And he took and went to another store, and I guess he ended up selling it, and he ended up about to get some I guess he ended up getting some gas. So then they ended up catching him at the Taco Bell down the street. And they called him, and one of the workers had said they thought that it was a woman in the car, because they thought that the person had a wig on. They could have swore that the person in the car had a wig on, but when he got out the car, he didn't have the wig on. So I'm like, what was he trying to act like my mama in the car? Like, didn't even make sense. So they ended up getting him and locking him up, and he's saying that he didn't do it. So, like, okay, that was that. And then so we still waiting at the house and waiting for him to bring her out. They end up bringing her out on a stretcher, and I just lost it. When I say I lost it, it was just devastating because, like, this is my world. My mama's like my best friend. Like, when I say my best friend, I talk to this woman every day. Like, there was no day I wouldn't talk to my mama. Like, we talk about everything. Like, when I grew up, like, I used to didn't, I was a teenager. I didn't like bump like my mama. I used to bump heads with my mama. But when I got grown, we was like this. We even went out together. We went to the clubs together. We went to bingo together. We went everywhere. Like, it's just like that was my last. Who would have known that that day before was my last day seeing my mama? But at least I got to see her, and I kind of wish that you know I could have helped and prevented something, like, because that was the reason why she was calling for the keys. She was calling for the keys because she was trying to, lock her door. And she probably locked her door and he unlocked it with the keys. He took her keys and unlocked it and came in there and killed her. And, I was just devastated with, my mom was gone and they told us that, didn't no one, don't nobody come clean the house. We had to book somebody to clean the house. And I don't know why my daddy went in there. My daddy went in there, y'all, and cleaned my mama's whole room. Like, cleaned it to the T. And I don't know why my daddy did that. Here, we could have booked somebody to clean that room, but my mom and my daddy was really close too. They was really good friends. And he cleaned that room. And I wish my daddy would have never cleaned that room because that scarred him. It really did. It, like, messed him up, like, in the head when he did it because it was so much blood everywhere. And he cleaned that room up, and I don't know how he did that. Like, because she got killed on her bed, on her mattress, and it was just horrible. Like, I was scared to even come back in her room. I mean, in her house, to even clean the house up, to, like, take everything out the house. It took me a while to come back in. I had to wait like a few weeks to go back in there. Y'all come back for part 5 of why my brother went crazy, how my brother went crazy and killed our mom. Okay, this is part 5 of how my brother went crazy and killed our mom. So my dad had went in there and cleaned up all the blood in the house. I don't know why he went in there and cleaned up all that blood, because we literally could have booked somebody to clean all that blood up, because homicide had told us, they told us that they didn't have anybody to clean the house for us, that we had to do it ourselves. And my daddy, him and my mom was really, really close, so I felt like he felt like it was his duty to do that, which after he did that, you could tell that it affected his mental, and I wish he wouldn't have never did that, but he did it. And then so after that, the next day, it was so overwhelming. Like, had so many people reaching out, and I appreciate everybody that reached out to me, but it was just like so overwhelming because I just lost my mama, and I really didn't know what to do. Like, it was just so much. Like, people was bringing food over, people was bringing, sending their condolence, reaching out, calling me, and at this point I just was numb. I didn't know what to do. Like, I was lost, like, lost for words. Like, I literally lost my best friend. I was so, lost for words because I couldn't believe it. I kind of felt like it was a dream. Like, my brother really killed our mama. This is my blood brother. This is our mama. I couldn't believe I lost my best friend. I didn't know how life was going to work again. Like, how was I going to cope with life? Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I couldn't even be a mom at the moment for my kids, like, cause I was lost. Like, I wanted to take my life. I wanted to be with my mama. I really did. And I'm gonna be honest, like, depression really hit the fan for me, and it was really bad. And, it got very bad for me because I was still trying to maintain life, for me and my kids, but it was hard. And, the detective had reached out to us and said that, they're trying to do the rapid tests for the DNA because they went ahead and did DNA for my mom, because she was like one of theirs. Like, I remember I told you she worked for the police department, so they did a rapid test. They was 10 toes down on trying to find out if this was my brother. They called my mama, and they really was very helpful. Really, they was. And they told me that they did a DNA test underneath my mama's nails because her nails was broken up. Like, I guess from her putting up a fight, trying to fight for her life, all her nails was broken because she had just got her nails done. And they put a DNA test on his clothes because they found his clothes in the basement. I guess he tried to wash his clothes. They found the murder weapon in the backyard because remember it was raining, so he was able to dig a hole and try to hide one of the murder weapons. And then they found another murder weapon down in the basement as well, in the little where the little sewers port in the basement. They found it there. I can't tell you exactly what the weapons was because we're still going for trial, but they also did the DNA test for that, and they told us that it takes 48 hours. So after 48 hours, they got back with us, and they let us know that their DNA came back as my brother being the one that murdered my mama, because the DNA went, it was his DNA underneath her nails and stuff, and her DNA was on, her blood was on his clothes and on the weapon and everything. So and her DNA was on him as well. So that he went to arraignment, and arraignment with court was on the news as well, because the news people was like, they was on it. They was reaching out to us trying to get a story and everything. They was reaching out to me constantly, and they had cast it on the news, the arraignment, and he had said that he didn't kill her, which we know that you did kill her. And it was very hard. Like, I didn't know what to do anymore. Like, I was lost. I really was, because trying to figure out how you're going to go day-to-day life without your mama, someone that's very important in your life, is hard. Like, even to this day, it's still hard, like, for me. But I had to get it together so I can plan her funeral. So me and my brother got together, and my family as well. We went to the funeral home so we can plan her funeral. And we had to pick out her casket and everything. And my mama had also told me how she wanted her funeral as well. She wasn't scared to talk about death. She let me know what she wanted, what color she wanted. My mama had a very good life insurance. She had life insurance put aside for her funeral and for her kids as well. So I was able to take care of everything for that, and, get her buried the way that, she wanted to. And I had also booked the makeup artist for her because I didn't want her to have the ordinary funeral home look, makeup look, casket short looking. I didn't want that. So I couldn't get her nails done because her nails was all messed up from fighting for her life. And I booked the makeup artist for her, and the makeup artist went out and tried to do her makeup. And the makeup artist reached out to me and was like, I'm so sorry for everything that happened to you. She was like, I tried my hardest to make your mom look good. I tried my best. I didn't want to mess up her face as much. So I went ahead and did the best that I could. And she kept apologizing. And then she said, I tried my best. So I'm like, okay, I didn't see my mom yet. I was going to see her the day before the funeral. I mean, the wake. So, because we had a wake and a funeral. So, the next day I went to see her. And when I went to see her, we had to make a decision, me and my family, if we was going to have an open casket or a closed casket. And when I tell you, when I seen my mama, that did not look like my mama. I cried my heart out. My little tears couldn't stop, because I couldn't believe that was my mama in that casket. The way he did my mama, it didn't even look like her. Like, they had to mold her face back together. Like, the way they had to mold her face back together, it was just ridiculous. Like, it was horrible. Like, her head, everything, like, was molded back together. And the makeup artist, shout out to her, because she really tried her hardest. But it didn't help anything. It really didn't. And my mama looked beautiful. It's my mama. But It was hard because we had to make the decision to have a closed casket. And I made everybody leave out the room when we made that decision. And I wanted to be in the funeral room by myself and my mama. And I talked to my mama. I told her I love her so much and I'm so sorry for what happened to her. I apologize. And I told her at the end of the day, you're still my mama. I'm sorry that I can't recognize you right now, but I love you to the fullest. And I love her so much. I miss her so much. And I couldn't believe that she had to fight for her life from her own son. And it was so hurtful to see my mama look like it. It was, y'all. It didn't look like her. And we finally made that decision. We had to have a closed casket. We did. So after that, we made our decision to have a closed casket. And I had made a wig for her and everything. I wanted her to look so beautiful. I wanted to do her hair. I made a wig for her and everything. I did the makeup artist, everything. I did so much. Her outfit, everything was so important. All for us to have to do a closed casket. Y'all, come back for part 6 of how my brother went crazy and killed our mom. Okay, this is part 6 of how my brother went crazy and killed our mom. So after we decided that we had to have a closed casket, we ended up getting everything together so we can get the wake. And that was like a lot for me, like trying to figure out everything for that. And shout out to everybody that literally helped me and my family through this situation, like the donations and everything. Like I even had someone like from the carriages with the horses. The lady gave us that for free. Like my mama was very, very important in this county, like Jefferson County. Like she was very good person. She knew a lot of people. She knew so many people, like, and I didn't know she knew that many people until she died. And just the amount of people that like looked out, like, you know, homegirl of mine, she even paid for the where we had the reception, the hall for that. Like that was just so nice. People looked out for the food, all that was just so considerate to even help that, because like I really was just lost at the moment, because I had a million and one things going through my head, and still trying to plan this funeral was just the worst. Like it was a lot. And you know, I was still trying to maintain being a mother at the same time. And we had this wake. We had the wake. All my family and stuff was there, and we got there, and we trying to have everything in order. Because I had to end up getting a big printout of my mama, since we was going to have a closed casket. I had to get a big printout picture of my mama and put it on the easel. So all these people's coming thinking they about to, you know, say their farewells to my mama. When they get in there, they are upset. Because they like, wait a minute, why is the casket closed? But we never told anybody why is the casket closed. We just let it be. Wasn't nobody's business. And you know, a lot of people came there to meddle too. When I tell you, there was a line outside for my mama, to see my mama. It was a line to get into the door to see her. And that line stayed steady. It was packed. It was so packed. It was 2 books filled up. You know how you sign when you go to somebody's wake to, you know, your little signature, you know that you was here. I have 2 books filled up. That's how many people it was. And I was so grateful for all them people to come and show love to my mama. Half of them people I didn't even know. But hey, I was just grateful to see the love for my mama. And as the day is going on, somebody come up to me and was like, his baby mama's here with the kids. Well, not the kids. She was pregnant, but with her daughter and her. Okay, I'm fine with my niece. My niece is my niece. It is what it is. But that baby mama, I don't know. Because, like, I'm like, well, we was like, because we kind of, I ain't going to stunt, kind of thought that she had something to do with it, too. Because, like, after a while, I felt like you knew something, but that you didn't tell us. Like, I felt like that was stuck in my heart and everybody else's in the family as well. She came there. Don't know why you came there, because you and my mama had bumped heads very bad, and like, it wasn't good terms. And I kind of felt like my brother sent her there, because like, her mama came as well, and her mama could have brought my niece. Not saying that she can't come to the funeral or the wake or whatever, but you wasn't welcome. That's the truth. You wasn't welcome there. Didn't nobody want you there. My niece was very welcome. She was. I don't care. Like, what my brother did is what he did. I'm not never gonna put that on the kids. They don't have nothing to do with it at all. And I love my niece to death, and his other kids as well. And she came, and I guess she felt the bad energy, but I felt like he sent her to come to try to see what the damage that he did. And she came and she left, like she was in and out. That's what made me feel like you came to see what did he do, what was the damage that he did. And after that, the funeral was over. We had our, the little ate after and all that. And then we had the funeral next. And at the funeral, it was kind of hard, because we was trying to figure out like how we was gonna, go through this day, because this is our last day seeing, our mama or whatever, even though we didn't get to see her because the castle was closed. So couldn't nobody talk at the funeral. And then I was the only one that could talk at the funeral. So I was strong enough. I don't even know how I had the courage to even get up and talk, but I did. And I was able to get up there and talk. And I said some words that I didn't even believe that I even said. And I even said, I know my mom. One of the words I remember to this day, I said, I know my mama's body is dead and gone, but her spirit stays alive. And I know she's always with me. And I stick to that to this day. I believe that. My mama is always with me. Her spirit never died. And I always feel her. Because I always have, good luck all the time. Because I know she's always around. She always look out for me. Like she was when she was here. So we had the love funeral. We had the reception. And then we had that. And it was that. And then a few days later, we get a phone call. And they had to release him. Because I don't remember why they had to release him. Okay, go back. Okay, I do remember. So they had to. This is before the test, the rapid test came out. They had to release him. When they had released him, they had to release him because they didn't have the DNA yet. And when they released him, they couldn't find him. They didn't know where he was at. He went hiding. When I say he went hiding, they couldn't find him nowhere. And it got to the point of where, like if somebody finds you out on this street, you know. I ain't saying too much on her, but you know. And couldn't nobody find him nowhere. They even had a manhunt for him, because after a while the test came back and they needed to lock him up. And they ended up finding him because a lady had called and said there was a suspicious man walking around the neighborhood. And this was like in a suburb neighborhood, like a neighborhood that everybody knows, neighborhood watch neighborhood. And she called and reported him. And when they found him and they picked him up, and then that's when they ended up keeping him. That's how, all that happened. Forgot to mention that. It kind of slipped my mind. But, like, that happened with that. And after that, we was like, what do we do next? and Christmas haven't even had came yet, and my mama, we still never went in her house to clean up her house yet or nothing. So we had went and got the presents, all that stuff. And she had presents with everybody's name on it, and she also had a gift for my niece. I mean, not my niece, her niece, which was my cousin. Remember I said that we were supposed to decorate the party for her? She had a gift for her, which was so nice. My cousin said she was going to cherish that gift because that was so nice. She had gifts for everybody. And then we ended up cleaning the house up. And when I went into my brother's room, oh my goodness, I found this Bible. Remember I told you it was bad spirits around that room? I found the Bible upside down words. Y'all, come back for part 7 of how my brother went crazy and killed our mom.
If you made it this far, part 7 wraps up this story. Naisha talks about her feelings towards her brother, the trial, and her brother being found competent to stand trial, and his attack on a fellow inmate. So, January 24th, 2021, very shortly after his arrest, Kendrick faces additional charges for at Metro Corrections. He's caught on camera punching and kicking the cellmate repeatedly. Then he removes his shirt and he puts it around the inmate's throat until the inmate loses consciousness.
This is part 7 of how my brother went crazy and killed my mom. So when I had went into that room, I had seen that Bible that was upside downwards. And in the chapter that was upside downwards that he was reading was something about sacrifice. You sacrifice someone to help to cleanse your soul. And I had when I had read that, I was shocked because I was like, did he sacrifice our mama? Like, I had all type of questions in my head. Like, I didn't know what to think. Like, why was that book upside downwards right there? Like, was it a reason why that book was upside downwards and it was on that chapter? Like, I don't know. Like, I even started thinking about, like, my mama and how she, like, had to put up a fight to, like, fight against her own son, like, her firstborn, her love. It's your first love. So, I was thinking about all that stuff, and that just blew my mind, like, because they was the only one in that house that really know what happened. And I had just things just running through my mind. But anyways, I had ended up talking to the detectives to see what was the next steps that we go in this process of going through courts and everything. And then I ended up meeting the prosecutor and everything, and they let us know the steps that we had to take to go through this process, and that it was going to be a long run, in which it is, because we're still waiting for trials to start. Trial hasn't started yet, and I don't even think I'm prepared for that, because I remember seeing my mama, but I don't, because I was like in shock, like as how I passed out, like it was just like a lot, like seeing somebody like it. Like, I read y'all comments and y'all know y'all be saying some off the wall stuff, like y'all do, and I don't really think y'all understanding me telling my story and what I really went through. Like, it's really bad trauma that somebody go through, and then you can't say, oh, I would have did this, and no, you ain't, because you don't know. Because I didn't say that plenty of times, even watching them criminal shows. I watched plenty of them, and to know that I was the one in one of them, like the stuff that I said that I would have did, I didn't. I wouldn't have never thought that I would have passed out and just ran out of that house. Like, it was just my reaction of right then and there, like seeing someone like it that I love. Like, you don't understand that trauma. That's very bad and horrible. Like, I wouldn't wish that on nobody. But like, that day that we had cleaned up my mama's house, I didn't get anything out of that basement because remember when he put the weapon in the little sewer thing? It was the sub pump, and he had turned it off. So it had rained. Remember, it had rained. So when it rained, everything that was in that basement flooded. And my mama had like everything in that basement, like even things from us growing up, pictures, like a lot of my childhood stuff was like in that basement. And our mamas, especially black mamas, they storage a lot of stuff in their basement, even like clothes, shoes, stuff when you was a kid, everything. It was in that basement. And my mama's basement was huge too. So I didn't get none of that, and that really hurt my feelings to know that I didn't get none of that, like stuff that was down there. Me and my other brother, and it just blows my mind, like the trauma that you go through when something like this happen, and it's hard to get through sometimes. I tell y'all, like I still to this day kind of still feel like I'm in a dream, like I still couldn't put it past, even though like a couple years then went by, I still can't put it past like why my brother did this. And I still haven't talked to him. Like when I first seen him in that courtroom, I didn't know like how my feelings was gonna be. Like I had like, you can't get rid of a love for somebody, but it's just like a hate there. Like I don't know, I kind of wanted him to die. And people kept telling me you can't think like that, God wouldn't want you to be that way. And I understand that, I know that deep in my heart. But the hate that I had for him for taking our mom away from us like that just was very bad. And I'm not a person like that. I don't think like that. So for me to have them bad thoughts in my mind, it was horrible. But when I seen him in there, I just wanted him to look at me. He wouldn't look at me. He would look away. And I stared at him the whole time. And I really wanted to know why you did that. Like, why? And, I guess he wanted more attention. Even when they put him in a cell with somebody, he tried to, like, hurt them. He had, like, choked them with his shirt and choked them out. So he ended up getting another charge for, doing that to that person in his cell. And he didn't even, like, as the months went by and we keep going to court, getting different dates, because ain't nothing happening in court. They also had they made him do an evaluation to see if he could stand trial. Was he crazy, and could he stand trial? In which they came to the conclusion that he can stand trial. But he just looked at crazy and crazy as I seen him in that courtroom. And then at first wasn't nobody coming in there for him. And just like recently when we've been going to court, his baby mama's been popping up in there. So they've been talking, And now he doesn't even have a public defender no more, because at first he had a public defender. And now he has a real lawyer. So I guess his baby mama's helping him out. And we seen her in the courtroom, and she tried to give me a hug, but my sister-in-law, she was like, no, I don't think it's a good idea. And I really wasn't feeling it either. Like I wasn't at all. And then like as the months and months and years go on, I kind of like, I forgive, but I don't. I don't know how to explain that. Like, I don't want to be in my heart where I'm just so angry and I'm in hatred. Like I feel like I'm blocking my blessings when I'm like that. And I know that he was going through something, because like me and my brother was like really, really close. I'm sorry, y'all. Hurt my feelings talking about that. Yeah, it really hurt my feelings talking about that. Me and my brother was really close. And I just really don't know why he took our mama. Like, I really don't. And it hurts my feelings to know that, y'all. And, I appreciate everything that everybody reach out and tell me their story. Y'all get on here and I just want to tell y'all my story. Like, I don't get on here just like to like for y'all's attention. I really don't. But I get on here to tell my story because I know people that reached out. So many people that reached out to me and told me that they're going through the same thing. And I feel like the system really, really failed me and my family. My mama even went to the court system and tried to, get the authority to put him inside a mental hospital. I forgot what it's called, but you take control of everything. They denied her, and I didn't understand that. And now my mama's dead due to the system failing us. Because I feel like if they would have helped him when we kept trying to take him to the hospital, my mama would still be here. Y'all, thank y'all for listening to my story. I really, really appreciate the love and the support that y'all really had came out and said to me. I read you all's messages and comments, even the negative comments. People's gonna say what they say, but I really appreciate y'all listening to my story. And thank y'all for everything, showing all the love. I appreciate it. Good night.
If you guys are still here, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you so, so, so very much. Please let me know down below in the comments what you thought about this. I'm really trying to find the best niche for me, for my content, for my personality, for my channel, and the best way to get out the best content to you guys with my very busy, very single mother of two life, that you guys really truly enjoy. So I'm always up for suggestions. I appreciate them, I truly do. And until next time, stay safe out there.